It's very dangerous to give me 10 minutes, because I can talk. David really today is looking at Christ is definitely going to return, and what are we doing with our time in the meantime? And if today is the day that we need to come back to him, then we need to do that today, because today might be the day that Christ returns. So what are we doing with our time while we're waiting? I wonder how many of you have got hobbies of any kind. You're not going to admit to them? No? Yeah? Fraser, what's your hobby?
Cricket.
What?
Cricket.
Cricket, yeah, that's a good one. Nice and active, keeping fit. Mine's nothing like that, but I think we all sometimes need a bit of me time, don't we? A bit of time when we can just switch off from the world and do something which helps us to relax. Now, I'm very much a worrier, and that doesn't come as a surprise to some people. And I'm a stress head. My son refers to me as the stress head. So I am currently pursuing 2 hobbies. And the first one is jigsaws. I've returned to this hobby. I used to like doing jigsaws years ago, and I've returned to them. And I do find them rewarding when the picture's actually completed. And I do find it relaxing while it's actually being done. So win-win. And I have to focus so much on the picture that I haven't got time for the worries in my head. However, it's very frustrating, particularly when you buy a second-hand jigsaw, and the last piece is missing from the box. You've been there. I was going to ask if anybody else had been there. And that missing piece makes it feel like it's been so worthless. Such a waste of time doing the whole jigsaw. But this made me think, so I'm very much a person who looks at objects and thinks about God through everyday life. And it made me think about our lives in relation to those jigsaws. Often there may seem to be that missing piece. I wonder what that missing piece might look like for you today. Is there a missing piece in your life? And for many people in our wider world today, the missing piece is God, but sometimes they may not recognise that it's God. And very often they don't know what they are missing. So it's not always as simple as them finding God and that missing piece slotting into place. Sometimes before they can find God, they may need to experience love, forgiveness, acceptance, and have their trust restored before God can slot into that piece. And I think that's where we come in. That's what we can use our time for. As God's people, as we travel about our everyday, ordinary lives, we should look at other people through his eyes and help them to find their missing pieces. Who knows, our small act of kindness and love, our acceptance of who they are and where they are, our forgiveness of them, may help them plug that gap in their lives and may help them ultimately make room for that missing piece, which is God. Do you know when we pay somebody a compliment, what if they're feeling a sense of self-hatred at that time and we are the ones who pay that compliment? We might then be able to replace that self-hatred with a missing piece of self-worth. When we come alongside them and we give someone our time, when we accept them where they are, we may be able to start that process of the missing piece being slotted in by restoring their trust in other people. I did say I had 2 hobbies, and the second one, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of nods for this one, is the diamond painting. I know lots of you are doing diamond painting. David's well at it, aren't you? Not my David, that one.
Dave?
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were smiling when I said diamond.
No.
I never would have dreamed how satisfying and relaxing it could be to simply stick coloured dots onto a sticky canvas and create a sparkly picture. But isn't it rewarding?
Yeah.
I think I'm on number 8 or 9 now. It's very relaxing. But again, a thought from this particular hobby. Every dot that I stick on my canvas makes the picture more complete and gives it more sparkle. How our lives need sparkle, don't they? How our world today, as dark as it seems, needs a sparkle. And we need to shine, but not going around like Cheshire Cats. You know, for a long time, I felt really guilty that I don't go around smiling all the time. But you can still shine without that permanent, fixed-on smile. We can still add some sparkle to this world by the way that we live. And in doing so, we can help other people to get their sparkle back. I once looked after an elderly lady who had lost her sparkle. No shadow of a doubt, completely lost her sparkle. She had started with dementia and had appeared to lose her zest for life. She didn't communicate with any of us carers, and she barely spoke to her husband. I cared for her for several months, day in and day out, much the sameness. Then came my light bulb moment with her. She was called Tilly. I looked at an old photograph on my way in that day, and it was in her younger days when she looked very, very glamorous. She had on makeup and she looked stunning. And do you know what? The cruelty of her life had taken away some of her identity. So the next visit, after her shower, I led her back through to her bedroom and rummaged through the drawers and found some lipstick. I kid you not, as we applied that lipstick, she came to life. It was so moving. She smiled and she grabbed the lipstick from my hands. I applied it on her the best I could, followed by the blusher and the eyeshadow. And you could not imagine the transformation in that lady. Not the conversation, but the smile and the unlocking of the former person. Her husband was extremely emotional as he said, "I have my wife back." The dementia will never subside. Old age cannot be reversed. But her sparkle came back that day as she did what she once loved with that makeup. And there are many Tillys in this world. There may be many Tillys in this room who have lost their sparkle. Those who have a missing piece of their life. David will be looking at later how we spend our time while we wait for Christ's return. But what better way to spend it than to help someone get their sparkle back? It's not rocket science. It just simply needs God-filled people living their everyday lives, but looking at people with love, understanding, compassion and acceptance.